right, well, it's a sad day here at Degen Fantasy because we lost the rights to use Return of the Mac for an intro.
We did this last stream. You weren't even there.
No, but I'm sorry. I noticed you guys didn't play it, but I didn't. I must have been swapping overlays or just busy at the moment when you guys brought it up because fuck, I did not know. And you're tuned back in another episode of Degen Fantasy. It is September 3rd, Tuesday at 6:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm joined by Double Down Dan, Admiral Brian, and your boy Rocky Prop, Rookie Bet, Chef Kermit. I don't have a good name, so I have multiple that are just
Kermit.
Average.
Chef
Kermit. I forgot. I didn't mean to do that one. I should just be.
Chef put together.
I should just be known as correlating. Correlative Rock.
I like it.
Here today. Not only are we here to talk, finally we are in a week where NFL football is going to be played. We'll get to fantasy in a little bit, but not only that, Admiral Brian and Double Down Dan cooked up the nastiest set of picks that I'm proud to share with y'all. And boy, gentlemen, I need you guys to give everybody who's not on SoBet telling these phenomenal picks a full breakdown of just how that first week of college football broke down for you guys financially and on the sports books.
Go ahead, Dan. You start.
We had a Saturday. We had a good Saturday, pretty solid Sunday, I would say. And finished up yesterday for me. I absolutely crushed Boston College 25 times on the spread line and just cashed in pretty big for that one as well. Bri, you handed out some fucking pretty sick picks. I can't fucking tell you the unders in all of the games we took were it wasn't even goddamn close, whatsoever. Pop them up. Scroll it down. Give me a scroll. You got scroll or this just screenshots here?
There's screenshots with a little bit of scroll. You looking for unders?
Yeah, Brian, talk us through the day. Talk us through your day.
Yeah, so noon happens. Penn State and Clemson are on TV. We have the Penn State under 50.5. We have Nick Singleton anytime touchdown, and then we had Clemson first half under. So going into about noon, I was really paying it as a Penn State fan. I'm watching the Penn State game, but keeping an eye on the Clemson game. Man, Georgia struggled out of the gate, and I mean, struggled is not scoring that many points. Now, defensively, they locked down Clemson the entire game. And I think if you go back to our previous podcast, not on YouTube, but on Twitter, cocksuckers, we said that we think Clemson has a good half of football in them, and they did. They played really well for a half, and then the floodgates opened. So that one hit immediately. We really had to wait for the second half of the Penn State game for our other two picks to hit. A late touchdown by Penn State right before half put the total in jeopardy. But then Singleton broke one in the third after a long rain delay. And not only did his total cash, but then clock chewing started, which is absolutely beautiful when you have an under. Penn State was up by quite a bit at that point, and we're just chewing clock. We're running the ball. Aller only threw the ball, I believe, 17 times. And their backup quarterback threw it once or twice. So Penn State didn't really air the ball out. They ran the ball over 40 times just because they're up so much, and that just chews clock. And that's what we wanted to see. That was probably the biggest sweat of the day, was the Penn State under. So that was our noon games, and 3-0 right out of the gate. And at that point, you start to get that the tingles, because you got a couple more games left, and if you can escape them, you're gonna walk away with a pretty good wad of cash.
Yeah, we fucking absolutely annihilated that. I mean, just going down the list, like you can look at that Cam Ward performance. I believe he shoots over that number by at least 50 yards, if I'm not correct on that.
Cam Ward, he had close to 400 yards passing.
Jesus Christ. So I was even way off. But yeah, we said that was a screamer. I probably should have put more money on it. But yeah, that was easy. I had a nice little bet over 1.5 or 2.5 touchdowns. I can't remember. That one fucking cleared. It was like an easy fucking week for us. Like realistically, it shouldn't have been that easy, but everything we said was gonna happen happened, which that's what you want, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Cam Ward threw for 385 yards. Notre Dame, Texas. I mean, I said from the beginning, Rocky, if you were going to watch that game, it was going to be a snoozer. It was a snoozer.
It was. I saw some of the highlights.
It was a low-scoring defensive game. So that's exactly kind of what we were looking at and what we thought was going to happen. And then LSU, USC. Man, that was we had Garrett Nussmeier over 288 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And that hit in the fourth quarter as LSU started chucking the ball around. Brian Kelly scared me a little bit there. He started going in a little bit of a pussy mode and started running the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm. Let me piggyback off that real quick because I got a couple words for my former coach here, Mr. Brian Kelly. If you're Nussmeier's throwing the rock like Brian, listen, we both watched the game. Was he not on target the entire fucking game?
I thought he was incredible.
He looked incredible. And then Brian Kelly goes into halftime and he's like, you know what? We got to control both lines of scrimmage. We gotta really start running the ball. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? The kid has like 180 fucking yards in the first half throwing. Now you're going to run the fucking ball? When do you run the ball? Why are we running against USC that can't fucking defend the pass? In my opinion, if they would have just thrown the ball the entire game, they would have won by like 2 touchdowns. I don't think they could have fucking stuck with them. They kept running the ball with these terrible fucking backs that I'm sure are like 4 or 5 star fucking recruits. And then Brian Kelly, did you see this fucking press conference? This guy's like, like, oh my God, I can't, dude, fuck you. All right, listen, I said it when Brian went down to LSU. It was the best fucking thing that could have happened to Notre Dame. Thank you for leaving. And thank you, LSU, for picking up Notre Dame's garbage. I really appreciate it. Listen, the guy's never going to win you a national championship. You've seen it. Obviously, you've given him a blank fucking check to go out there and make moves and make waves in every fucking market that Louisiana is in. I mean, LSU is a national fucking brand, a brand that competes for championships. For him to come out and lay a fucking egg when I think that was probably the worst coaching job he's ever fucking done, in my opinion. To say when you're shredding a defense for 180 yards in the first half that you need to run the fucking ball more is the craziest fucking thing in my my head is ready to pop right now. Like, how do you fucking think that that's your best course of action?
I mean, and Nussmeier ended the game 29 for 38. So he only had 9 incompletions the entire game.
Yep.
And 304 yards. So he only threw for another 120 in the second half. Yeah, definitely mind-boggling, especially those late possessions. USC started to get some momentum, and I think LSU went 3 and out on their last possession, and they tried to run the ball. It's like, let the kid throw, because they were able to get some mismatches on the outside.
Yep.
But USC, let's credit USC's defense. I know they've taken a lot of shit the last couple of years, rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
If USC can put up a defense like that week in, week out, they might be a Big Ten top 3 team, top 4 team, and might be looking at a playoff berth. So that's something to keep an eye out. How does USC's defense continue to evolve throughout the rest of the season.
You know what? And I think you're right. I think they looked like a team last season that wasn't bought in like whatsoever. Like they rolled over when it got tough. Usually, I would say that's probably due to like everyone kind of hating Caleb Williams or whatever the fuck was going on last season. But they really spent some money in the offseason, and I think they got a lot tougher. The quarterback play is good. Miller, Moss, whatever the fuck this dude's name is, he's good, man. He can sling the fucking ball. I didn't give the play, but I had a little play on the over for his passing yards, which was it was like 288.5 or some shit like that. Thought it looked a little high, but I was questioning myself, like, he's probably gonna throw this fucking ball. So I hit on that, and he went under the passing touchdowns. My one concern here for LSU is, like, if you're gonna fucking Jedi mind fuck yourself, like, how is this gonna do? They look like a playoff team? Like, I think, yeah, you're right about USC. If they can play fucking defense with like half of, with that effort, that same effort they had against LSU, they're gonna be a fucking top 10 team. Like, they are, with that offense and the weapons and just how fucking fast they are. And they look so physical on defense. And we watched them last year. That was like, you could blow on them a little too hard and they'd fucking roll over. Like, this team is much better than they were a year ago. And I like the quarterback play better so far. I know it's only been a fucking 1 week, but the kid fucking moves with poise. He can move in the pocket. He seems like he's got arm talent, like, out the fucking ass. Like, USC is going to be a contending team this year in the Big Ten and probably going to get a playoff spot. But if you're LSU and you've given so much fucking money for this fucking Brian Kelly to do something for you, and you come out and lay a fucking egg like that on national fucking television, like, that was the only game of the fucking night. That was the only game people were watching. All the recruits saw that shit happen in real time. Everyone you're recruiting right now, watch that fucking game. Even people you weren't fucking recruiting are watching that fucking game. And if I'm coming out of it from looking at it, I'm like, I want to go play with Lincoln Riley in fucking Southern California. I'd rather go play there because he knows how to fucking at least build some fucking talent. Like, he can fucking game plan, and it looks like Brian Kelly's lost. So I know that was a lot. I think Nussmeier is probably the best fucking quarterback in college right now. To be quite honest with you, I watched a lot of college players this past weekend. I think Nuss is like, he's ready for the NFL. Like, if he doesn't come out after this year, then I think it's fucking a huge mistake. But do you think LSU is going to find itself in the running for a playoff spot? Because I don't see it.
I mean, it was they have a gauntlet of a schedule on the back end. So this was kind of a must-win game because their first 5 games were all winnable. So you have a USC team that struggled last year. Then you go to Nicholls State, South Carolina, UCLA, and South Alabama. Then the real part of the schedule starts. You have Ole Miss at Arkansas, at Texas A&M, home for Alabama, at Florida, who looked absolutely brutal this week.
That's a win. Pencil it in.
And then they end with home for Vanderbilt and then home for Oklahoma to end the season. So it's a gauntlet of the schedule. They needed this win. I don't know if they will be able to keep 3 losses off the board, to be honest with you. I think 3 losses will get you into the playoffs in the SEC. But I mean, right now you have to think that Ole Miss, Alabama, and Oklahoma will beat them, and potentially a slip up at Texas A&M maybe, or at maybe Arkansas. So if you just count the Ole Miss, Alabama, and Oklahoma games as losses, that's 4 losses. That will not get you into the playoffs.
Yeah, they're not. They're gonna flirt with, like, I think they're gonna be at 7 wins probably this year. I don't like how easy that defense rolled over when they play a buzzsaw of a fucking offense like that Alabama offense that we saw. I know they're playing a shitty team, but the growth just year by year of that fucking offense comparatively to this fucking defense, they're going to get fucking shredded when they play some of these fucking teams. Like, Florida looked like shit against Miami, but I mean, I feel like if the defense is going to roll over like this, like, I think Florida could fucking score some points on them. Like, there wasn't a point in time when they had a push on that defensive line. That defensive fucking offensive line battle was completely lost by LSU. And that is something you hate to fucking see, man. They got all the offensive talent in the world. I just don't think that they're going to fucking put it together. And like, I just want to we'll move on right now. I didn't hear a lot of mention in this game. Last night we had Florida State playing Boston College. What you gave out team total for Boston College over?
Yep, 16.5. Over 16.5 team total.
Fucking another ripper by Bry. That was fucking easy. It was easy as fuck. We didn't put it on so bad. But released it in the Discord. If you're in the Discord, you'll be able to get these plays too. Boston College put an absolute fucking hurting on Florida State last night. I thought the defensive play from them was insane. Bill O'Brien, a lot of people forget that he was a great fucking college coach. He comes back to the college ranks from, a pretty rough go in the NFL. I mean, he still was a good coach in the NFL, I think, but really didn't end the way you probably wanted to end. He comes back to the college rank, takes over Boston College, a pretty rudderless Boston College program that was going like 5-7, 6-6 pretty much every fucking year. And they looked like a completely different fucking team, man. Or is just Florida State that fucking bad? Like, what the fuck is going on at Florida State right now?
I mean, DJU is not a good quarterback. Let's put that out in the universe.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows that. He missed how many really easy completions that a fifth year player should be making, right?
Correct.
There's two particular in the end zone that in the first half that they should have scored. Ended up getting a field goal instead. The offense is in shambles. They had, I think, 21 rushing yards the entire game. Mm-hmm. Florida State can't do that. Florida State can't just rely on Uliungalei to throw the ball around the yard and expect to win. They have to run the ball. Mm-hmm. Now you look on the other side. What did Boston College do? Boston College ran for, I think, close to 260 yards. I don't know. It was way over 200 yards. And they took the air out of the ball. They limited possessions. They knew that there was an athletic disadvantage that they had going into it, and they ran the ball down their throats. And think that's the most concerning thing as a Florida State fan. I think you can probably get over the fact that the offense is struggling. But when you have so much hype around this defense, there are some NFL scouts that said this was the best defensive line in college football.
Yeah.
And for 2 straight weeks, they've been manhandled by offensive lines and just been gashed in the running game. So, no, Florida State's defensive line is not the best in the nation. We can all declare that now. And they're in some trouble. They I don't know how many winnable games they have on their schedule if they keep playing like this.
Yeah, they're fucking fucked. Like they're out of the top 25 now. I don't like. I'll go over their schedule in a minute, but rushing, Boston College had 263 yards yesterday.
Yep.
You know how far fucking back you have to go? I don't even know the fucking stat, but I know it's over 20 years, probably, maybe 15 to when Boston College had over 200 yards rushing in a game. Really concerning, though, is like the push up front, even on their O-line. Like, they should have a significant advantage just in weight. Like, the boys in Florida State are eating steroids and fucking chicken and fucking all day. Like, that's all they're eating. They should not be getting pushed off the ball by what Boston College can recruit, because they're pulling from 3 stars, maybe a 4-star here and there. FSU's getting fucking top 10 recruiting class in the fucking nation, man. And they're bringing in transfers whenever the fuck they want. For you to look at DJU's performance last year in Oregon State and be impressed, I don't fucking blame you. But I do think you need to understand the quality of opponent. The Pac-12 was good last year, but it wasn't a Big Ten. It wasn't an SEC. And clearly it wasn't a fucking ACC, which is like, that's not great, man. I think you really have to look at fucking benching him, right?
I mean, I was calling for it in the first half. As a neutral fan, I just didn't understand it. This is the second week in a row that defenses have stacked the box, literally put their receivers on islands and said, beat us with your arm. And he hasn't been able to do that in either game. And that's very concerning. They spent quite a bit of money for DJU. They were in the running for Cam Ward, surprisingly enough, but Cam Ward decided to go to Miami instead. Great decision, apparently.
Chose right.
But yeah, there's definitely some issues in Tallahassee, and it doesn't get easier next week because they might play the best group of 5 team in the nation in Memphis.
Yeah.
And if there's anything you know about Memphis historically is they come with a really good offense. You have players historically like Paxton Lynch came from Memphis. D'Angelo Williams came from Memphis. There's a pedigree of offense that that will come into town next week. And it's a short week for them, right? They played on a Monday. They play on a Saturday next week. So they have less time to prepare for a Memphis than the rest of the country would have.
Yeah, they're gonna run into a Memphis team that is not afraid of them at all, and that is a problem. I think there's a lot of fucking issues in Florida State right now. I think what you really have to be concerned with is it looked like the team gave the fuck up. Like there was blatant, like as bad as I think DJU is, there was some drops in that fucking game that I was like, there's maybe 15 yards between you and your nearest defender. You could have taken that to the fucking house if you wanted to. And they're dropping balls all over the goddamn place. Can't fucking for the life of me tell you what the fuck is going on there. But it's not good. They're paying so much money for this fucking team. They're fucking paying way more than you think they're paying for this fucking team. They were in competition with every motherfucking player that was on the open transfer market this year, and they got most of them. Like, they're not fucking – they have depth. They have pieces all over the fucking place. So where do you look when all this shit's going bad? Of course, you're going to blame the fucking quarterback, but – I mean, Norvell, like, what the fuck is going on? It's coaching, right? Like, if you have the best, like, listen, if Nick Saban was coaching this team, they'd be fucking 2-0 right now. I can tell you that. Nick Saban ain't losing to fucking Georgia Tech and Boston College. It ain't gonna fucking happen. He's not gonna be like, yeah, we're marching into fucking Georgia Tech to barely fucking lose. Like, he ain't doing it. Any good coach is taking this team with this fucking talent and fucking they're going to the playoffs. So I think Norvell's the issue, right?
And it's funny that you bring up Norvell, right? So in an alternate universe somewhere in the stratosphere, Norvell is the coach of Alabama.
Oh, man.
Because Alabama aggressively went after Norvell after Saban retired. It was rumored that he might make the move. And man, Alabama has to be at the dinner table, licking their lips and saying, thank God that shit didn't happen to us.
And you know what? To piggyback off of that, not only do you fucking not have to deal with that piece of shit coach, you get the best coach in college football. Kalen DeBoer is the best coach in college football currently. That's without a fucking doubt in my mind. He's the best offensive mind in football. He recruits like a motherfucker. This dude and his fucking recruiters are second to fucking none, dude. The fact that he was able to take that middling Washington program and turn it into a title contender, even though they run into Michigan, which was basically all first-round picks and shit like that, like Georgia of a couple years ago. So they weren't going to win there. But for Washington to be a perennial, 10-win team when he was there, that's no easy feat whatsoever. He's the best coach in college football right now. So Alabama lucks into another fucking good one, and they fucking make another right decision, and they just can't fucking miss. All right, so looking down the schedule, Memphis, you got California, which, I don't think they're any slouches. SMU just spent a fuck ton of money on their team, and they're going to compete. Then you got Clemson, who, if you're playing lesser talent, Clemson looked really, really good defensively in that first half. You just can't leave your defense on the fucking field for the entire game. You just can't fucking do it. So against a weakened defense like Florida State, I think Clemson might actually get something going. Then you go to Duke, which is always not an easy game for everybody. Miami, which if we're comparing the two teams, Miami is going to fucking kill them. UNC, which should be a good win for them. Then you play Notre Dame, and we'll talk about them in a minute, and that is not an easy game. That defense is real. We saw it in Texas A&M and College Station. I did call for a 28-7 victory. I'll take a 23-13. I thought Notre Dame, just switching from fucking Florida State, the only win I see right now is Florida and Charleston Southern and UNC. That's it. But just switching to Notre Dame real quick, they look fantastic, I think. Offense took a minute to get clicking, but I really thought there was a big switch. Leonard looked like he figured it out in the fucking third, fourth quarter, end of third, and beginning of fourth quarter, and they were able to move the fucking ball. I think Notre Dame is a fucking contending team. I don't think they'll compete with the likes of Alabama or Georgia, but I do think I see them in the playoff. If they go 11-1, if they go 10-2, they're in the playoff, correct?
Yeah, I would assume so. Now, the only problem with Notre Dame is that their schedule is pretty soft. So if I look at the rest of their schedule, they play Louisville. Maybe Georgia Tech gives them a game. Florida State, not so much anymore. USC at the end of the year. So
that's the only game left on the schedule I'm worried about.
Yeah, so they really don't play the type of schedule that an SEC team or a Big Ten team would have to schedule. That being said, if they escape with one loss, let's say they lose that USC game, the last game of the season, I still think they make the playoffs. In fact, I believe they're a top 8 seed at that point and would get a home playoff game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they're going to fucking do well this year. They looked really poised. I'm excited to see the offense grow over this year. I like Leonard, man. He's quick. Got a little bit more arm talent than I thought he did. And goddamn it, did they pay him a fuck ton of money. So glad he's fucking panning out thus far. We'll see what they do. Looking at 11-1, I think, for them. Don't know where the loss comes from, but you're right. Georgia Tech is not an easy fucking game. They look like they're well coached and have a little bit of talent finally. And USC, by the end of the season, I think they're going to be, competing for a fucking playoff spot. They're going to be fucking good. That offense is only going to get better over time. And that defense, if it can fucking just hold it together, they're going to be fucking good too. So excited for that. But I think that's a good recap of college football. I want to touch on the NASCAR race. We were in Darlington, and a dude you mentioned, surprisingly, that did not fucking even compute with me. I wasn't even thinking of this man. But you mentioned that one of your favorite matchups was, I believe, Briscoe over
Eric Jones.
Eric Jones. Which, was it ever in doubt? Did you ever feel nervous about that fucking matchup?
I mean, he was in the top 4 the entire race. So.
The entire race.
No, I mean, it felt really good. He was up front. He pitted with the leaders the entire time, so it wasn't like he got off schedule. I mean, the only real concern I had was maybe Jones gets on a different pit schedule and lucks out top 5 or something like that on pit strategy. But for the most part, just on the track, Briscoe looked great.
Yeah, it was probably the best race I've seen of him in the NASCAR Cup Series. Thought he was in control the whole time. This guy flashed all the potential in the world at the Xfinity Series. I thought he was a lead driver there. I think he was really fucking good. Really excited to see what he can do next year. Now that this race was, I think it was phenomenal. I don't know how you feel about it. I know Larson led most of the laps, but like Larson does, just fucking couldn't do it. Briscoe, he makes that fucking move, right? On the bottom of the track, slingshots himself around, and then he's got to fight off Kyle fucking Busch, another guy you fucking mentioned. I had a nice little top 3 ticket on him as well. But you mentioned Kyle Busch, and I thought Busch was going to fucking get into him. I honestly thought Busch was putting that motherfucker into the wall. I love the fact that he's not a piece of shit and tried to race him the proper way. I feel like maybe Kyle Busch, like a couple years ago, puts him into the fucking fence and then he goes around him. But he has, like, really tamed himself, I think. So, Briscoe, great fucking race. He never in doubt. SVG butt fucked us from the beginning. That was so stupid. Anyways, I don't know whatever. You called Briscoe, you called Busch. If you fucking if you watch the stream, listen to the pod, whatever the fuck. I think we gave you a lot of actionable fucking info. Great fucking race. Super stoked for fucking Atlanta next week. We'll have some more fire for you there, hopefully.
So to recap, I was 7-0 on college football. Keep those losses off the board. And then 1-1 in NASCAR with Kyle Busch top 5. So really 2-1.
Yeah, that Kyle Busch fucking top 3 ticket was nice. It was like plus 280 or some shit like that. All right, Rock. 32 minutes and 54 seconds in. You are allowed to speak. Good to see you.
Hi, guys.
Glad to see that you got to fucking cash on one of our little fucking tickets.
I didn't know who he was or what was going on, but I was like, hey, the fellas are all over it tonight. So, yeah.
Who did you end up taking? What was it? What was the bet?
I took Neusmeyer over his passing yards, then over 2 touchdowns, courtesy of the Admiral.
Over 1.5 touchdowns, motherfucker.
Over 1.5 touchdowns. Yeah, it was... I was following the game late because I kind of just placed it and forgot about it, and then started like checking in on the game, and I saw you hit the Discord, and I saw the passing yards hit, and I was like, oh shit, that's right, I forgot to place this. So I'm following the game and went down to the wire. The first time I ever watched him play, he seems like a top talent type of caliber player, but I'm slowly trying to get into college football. And I'm realizing I'm going to have to really get into college football to even get in these conversations, but it will come. It will come. We started this show 8 months ago, and it was the tail end of the college football season, the NFL season, and we've done pretty well. But now I can catch a full season from start to finish, follow some of the teams I know, like fucking Colorado and South Carolina and shit like that, and use that to kind of like expand my knowledge.
Yeah, dude, you keep betting these bets that we're giving you, and they keep winning. You'll be a fucking fan in like 2 weeks.
I'll be like, I know that guy. He made me $600.
Yeah, it was a good fucking weekend, man. Like overall, really good fucking weekend. I even had fucking Notre Dame on the money line too. It was super fucking. It couldn't have went fucking better, honestly.
Well, one of the best weekends I've ever had betting on games, to be honest with you. So
bang, baby.
When you can keep the losses off the board, those are 2-unit swings, right? So
yep.
It's better to be up a unit than down a unit, and that's a two-unit swing. And I'm sure all the followers that are out there that are on SoBet and on the Discord enjoyed it too. And it seems like traffic's picking up, and rightfully so. We're just unbelievably hot.
Yeah, so
I think I've decided that we're going to keep being hot. I've decided that we're not allowed to get cold this year. So, so boys, like, keep it up. Rocky, I look forward to hearing you speak more during these podcasts. I look forward to your fucking NHL and NFL picks. I feel like a lot of people don't remember that you were maybe the hottest capper on the planet during the NFL season last year, along with myself.
Shall we remind him, Dan?
You can, go ahead.
So let me get into this. So before I remind y'all so eloquently how well we've done, we have since been sponsored by a platform called SoBet. The link is in the description if you want to tail not only us, but all the other signed sharps and cappers on SoBet. So you're not getting random picks from people on TikTok. So we started the show, just Double Down and we've been working with Brian, and football season last year went a little something like this. Let me see if I can find a proper overlay for this. Let's go here. And I do.
That's our parlay of the day. We got $50 to win a clear.
This was so early on.
Let's go ahead,
$50 to win 400. We
Week
took the
or
best
so.
picks out of all our picks, and we made a little lay.
Bang.
Smashed it out the fucking park. Look at Jake Browning. He was projected to get 233 yards. We
Over by
smashed
100.
the over for 335. Devonta Smith, 5 receptions. Jahmyr Gibbs, 80 and fucking 20. And Dak Prescott had 2 passing TDs. Are you seeing this?
Oh my god.
Hold on, let me hit
It's
the
just
display
so
off.
sexy.
Fucking 11 and 3. And that's
3 for 3 last night with Jordan Love, Matthew Stafford, and Jared Goff.
our parlay of the day. So we are officially we're 6-1 on our parlays of the day. So we
What a
placed-
fucking week.
Oh my god, dude, my Bovada's never looked prettier.
So that's kind of how we started, and here we are now, sponsored betters by SoBet, giving out fire picks all the time. So we're bringing this season in with a fucking bang, and I wanted to start just with the slate. We do sports betting, we do fantasy football. I'm gonna stay on the sports betting side, and I'm looking to see what you guys got for money line, and then we have some props as well from both Brian, Dan, and I, as well as maybe we'll get in some starts and sits. So I know Bry is a big Eagles fan, so we're going to key in on his passion knowledge because, I mean, if you could put your bias aside for your favorite team, I think asking your buddy who watches their favorite team the most. Like I don't watch the Eagles as much as, say, Brian would, so, like, as a smart sports bettor as he is, you can take the bias aside from the fandom and actually come up with some solid shit. So let's start with Friday's game in Green Bay. What are you guys thinking? What are you looking at? What do you like? And who do you think's going to win this one?
So this game is in Brazil, and all these
That's right.
fucking players do not want to go to Brazil at all. Darius Slay has mentioned he doesn't want to go to Brazil. AJ Brown said he's gonna fly in, stay at the hotel, not go out, play a game, fly back. None of these guys want to be in Brazil. They've been warned how dangerous it is in Brazil. Just walking down the street, they might get mugged or shot or stabbed. Yeah, this is just so fucking stupid that the NFL has they take away an Eagle home game to go down to Brazil and fucking play this game against Green Bay. I am cautiously optimistic about this game. I think the Eagles have made some really good moves in the offseason. Obviously, you get a Saquon Barkley, you get a Jahan Dotson. I feel like they shored up the secondary quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
James Bradbury's no longer in our secondary anymore. We draft Mitchell. We draft Dijon. Bring back Chauncey, CJ Chauncey Gardner, and then get Devin White. So I feel like the pieces are there for the Eagles to make a run this year. Now, Green Bay last year was better than expected, right? So Jordan Love, I don't think anyone going into the season last year would have said Jordan Love is one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually proved that he is. So this game makes me nervous. I'm not going to bet on the game nor the total because I just don't know with all this travel and all this other shit that's going on how the game's going to play out. I will say I do love a prop, and it is one of my favorite props I've seen in probably the last 12 months. And I am going to be all over it, and hope it should pay for the rest of the weekend if it hits. And that is Saquon Barkley over 15.5 yards receiving.
Nice.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I've been keeping my eye on too. With the addition of Saquon, there's so many different teams that utilize the check down or whether they're passing to their running back in different ways. And obviously, like if you look at New Orleans, for example, with Kamara when Carr was there, he was the check down master. A killer in fantasy for that factor on top of his rushing side. I just think, dude, like first off, being a Giants fan, this hurts to watch, but I brought up how much Brian's watched the Eagles and how much I trust his knowledge in them with watching Saquon his entire career on my favorite team. I think Dan is on the wrong side of Saquon, even though he's tailing this pick this week, because a whole offseason he's like, Saquon's not going to do shit and fuck Bijan as well. And I wasn't even talking about Bijan, but that's how he'd kind of stem into it.
Fuck Bijan, though.
There is so much talent through the air in Philadelphia that it's going to be hard to play coverage against this team, especially a lot of people forget that Dallas Goedert is a solid tight end. Regardless of any of it, I think this is a guaranteed hit, in my opinion. Especially they think they're going to want to get Saquon acclimated into the offense early, not only on the ground and at the goal line, but also through the air. But I'm also, outside of the bet, excited to see if Jalen Hurts is going to change his stance when he's getting the ball now, because Jason Kelsey's no longer there. And he said many times that he had to crouch so low specifically to get his hard ass snaps. So I'm curious to see how that looks. But this is one of my favorite picks. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, listen, Bry's so hot right now that if you don't take any of his picks, you're a fucking moron. So just ride the fucking heat, buddy. Well, you can't just ride the fucking heat. Okay. I think it's going to go over. My pick here, I love Jordan Love over the number on the pass yards. Here's my reasoning. I think Philadelphia is going to be kicking the shit out of them probably. I really fucking worry about this NFL Brazil game. I have no idea why you fly two of the coldest city teams to fucking Brazil to play a fucking game. Like, makes no sense to me. Like, fly the Dolphins down there. Nobody gives a fuck about them. Like, fly the fucking Bucks down there. Fly the two fucking shitty
Most
fucking
Southern
Florida teams down to Brazil and let them fucking play with each other down there. This game makes zero sense. I don't know why you do this to two great. I think both of these teams are going to compete this year. Really loved what I saw from Jordan Love. Philly's just got so. I worry about the coach quarterback situation, Bry. I don't know what the fuck's going on between Sirianni and fucking Jalen, but I hate that shit. But the weapons alone are fucking crazy. I don't think Green Bay's defense is going to be great. I don't think the Eagles' defense is going to be that good either. To be quite honest with you, I don't think defense is going to travel too well when they're playing in fucking that sweltering fucking craziness in Brazil. I think you see a lot of points. And what do you boys think? I think Jordan Love goes over 253 passing. I think that's an easy number for me.
The only thing that concerns me with the Eagles scoring points, and granted, they have weapons all over the place. This will be Kellen Moore's first game as offensive coordinator of the Eagles.
Yeah, I forgot.
We have 5 years of data on Kellen Moore, what he likes to do. He likes to throw the ball. And this lends back to the Barkley pick. Over the course of the last 5 years, running backs average about 4.5 receptions per game when Kellen Moore's the offensive coordinator. So they throw the ball to running backs. Saquon Barkley, historically, over the course of his career, he averages 7.3 yards per reception. So 7 times 4 is 28, which is way over 15. So the math just makes sense on that pick. They're going to want to use the shiny new weapon. They want to sell jerseys. They brought him in for a reason. I think Saquon gets his hands on the ball quite a bit. And then at this point, you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on the outside. So when you start loading the box on Saquon, Jalen can then air it out.
Yeah, I think you think Saquon's due for a touchdown?
I'm not ready to bet a touchdown for Saquon at this point. I want to see this offense in motion. especially with the Brazil shit going on the travel.
Mhm.
I want to see the team at least get a couple games under their belt to kind of understand some more of the trends. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed of putting a little bit of money on it if you get good odds. I'm assuming it's probably about even money.
Yeah, I bring it up because I was kind of thinking the same notion, and only because the two games that we have on slate feature two of the top, well, two of the basically top 10 running backs in the league, and you look over at the Baltimore Kansas City game, I'm hammering a Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. The difference to me is that goal line work is basically the majority of what older Derrick Henry's game is going to be. He's 30 years old, but Saquon's game is more dynamic. Like you said, he's going to be utilized through the air. So I was curious to see your opinion on it, because that's not something I was ever really even intrigued by, especially him being in an offense that's loaded with a lot of wide receivers. You look at an example of Baltimore, where they got Mark Andrews and Zay, and I think at the goal line, whether you're using Lamar or Derrick Henry, it's going to open up a lot, because you're going to have so much to read, whether they're like who's going where with what, whether they're going through the air, running the ball, or if it's through their quarterback or through Derrick Henry. So I think that one's a little bit more of a slam dunk than Saquon would be. I'm just excited. I honestly, outside of the bet, I'm just excited to see him on a team that's good and that plays well, and see him happy and confident. And if like with what they did with DeAndre Swift last season, there's no doubt in my mind he's gonna have a good year.
Agreed.
I agree. I think Philadelphia figures it out this year. I think they'll be fine. I'm hopeful that Jalen's the guy up there. But everything about this Brazil game says stay the fuck away, and I feel like we have two picks on it, and I'm now concerned about it. Like fucking Bry said, everybody doesn't want to fucking be there. Josh Jacobs is like, I'm real scared to be in fucking Brazil. Like,
Play football, be fine.
To be quite honest with you, again, I'm reading currently from people in Brazil that maybe the field isn't like the best situation.
No.
This screams of
Saquon. No.
This screams of a catastrophic injury. Like that's just all it screams to me. I think this is the stupidest fucking shit that the NFL could fucking do. Like, I get like maybe there's an American Football League in Brazil and it's like kind of popular there, but nobody gives a fuck about this game in Brazil. It's just going to be a bunch of fucking Green Bay Packer and fucking Eagles fans getting stabbed in the streets of Sao Paulo. Like, I fucking imagine a fucking Philly dude down in fucking Brazil. Are you kidding
Imagine
me?
a prop on that, the over-under stabs.
Dude, it's gonna be like 34.5, and I'm taking the over.
The over.
Like, dude, I'm taking the over all goddamn day. I get real fucking nervous about this fucking game. I don't know, man. I don't know. Playing surface kind of fucked up. I expect points to be scored, but I also expect somebody's leg to be separated from their body.
Oh my lord. All right.
Just saying, dude, like you can't send these fucking football players to play in fucking slight third world countries. Like just slight. It's like a little bit.
You
slightly.
can't send these NFL players on a private jet to a hotel that's right next to the field. And
you know what? Keep that same energy when you got to go play hockey in Brazil. I want to fucking see it.
I'm not an NHL player.
Exactly, motherfucker. Listen, I'm going to fly you to Brazil, and I want to see if you have a decent time down there. That's what I want to see.
Dude, I can't even get an ambulance at my game for when I'm playing in my hometown. If I get my neck cut, I'm dead.
You're done. You don't even speak the language. You're fucking roasted, dude. Listen,
here's what I'm going to say. They don't have ice down there.
You're gonna hear they're fucking huge hockey fans, so they love fucking beer league hockey teams, and you're gonna have to go down there and play it.
Here's my question. Okay.
Question me.
So we got Jordan Love over 253.5 passing yards. Okay. Who of which receiver / tight end is getting the majority of this volume, whether it's for a bet or for like a start sit situation? Is it Luke Musgrave? Is it Christian Watson? Is it Romeo Dobbs? Is it like, who do you think the ball's going to?
I think they're going to be able to split these. Listen, they have.
Someone's going to have a game though. Someone's going to have a game.
I think Dobbs is probably the guy here. But I feel like Watson could. Listen, I just think this passing offense is really, really good. What do you think about your defensive backs, Bry?
I mean, I think I think they're going to test the rookie, right? So you have Quinyon Mitchell, who's the rookie out of Toledo. He was the top corner taken in the draft, and all things from camp sound like he's ready to play, ready to start every single down across from Darius Slay. The back end, you have Reed Blankenship and CJ Chauncey Gardner comes back from Detroit. That's where it gets scary, right? Safety. You probably try to test the rookie a couple times, see what he's made out of. Slay, has he lost a step? Yeah, I think he has. You can probably get some yards on him. And then Blankenship, he's more of a thumper in the box. So if you can get him in coverage, whether that be on from the running back position or tight end, I think that's where you attack the Eagles defense. This is going to be a whole new defensive scheme that the Eagles are putting together. This is Nick Fangio's defense. So we tried to replicate Fangio's defense the last couple of years and said, fuck it, we're just going to bring him in and hire him. So now he's actually running the show there. And I have a feeling that Green Bay is going to be able to score just because you're breaking in two brand new coordinators, and who the fuck knows, right? This is brand new system for both sides of the ball, and it might be a rough going at least for the first half, if not for the full game.
Jake Watson says PFF has Devonta Smith outscoring AJ Brown in PPR leagues. I've always been an advocate of Devonta Smith, and I've never really, obviously I've had him on a couple fantasy teams as well, as I just love his game, and I loved him at Alabama. Even though I don't watch a lot of college football, I did watch that Alabama team, and he's got the talent. Obviously when you have such a dominant dog across from you in AJ Brown, it kind of almost feels like that Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel kind of dynamic. And I'd say AJ Brown is Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel is Devonta Smith. It's either a Deebo day or an Ayuk day, and a Devonta Smith day or an AJ Brown day. Just one of them is a little bit more, I don't know, in my opinion, utilized. I feel like AJ Brown's routes are a little bit more tailored to his kind of style, and I think Devonta's more of that deep downfield, run and gun speed kind of ball. And I know we got Brian as an Eagles fan. I don't know if he'd agree or not. What do you think on Devonta Smith this season, fantasy-wise or sports betting-wise, or just his production-wise with A.J. Brown and also with the addition of Jahan Dotson?
I mean, both of those motherfuckers got paid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Howie got him paid early to avoid the shit that's going on with Jamar Chase, St. Brown, right? So all these receivers are getting fucking paid. And Howie went out and got these guys locked up early, so we got him in cheaper. I think Devonta Smith's only making about $25 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
So needless to say, I think they're one of the best 1-2 combos in the league. Now Dotson had his issues dropping the ball in Washington, and I think he probably lost his job this year. I think Washington ended up, I don't know if they were going to cut him, but they ended up getting some draft picks for him, which is probably a good thing for Washington. We needed a third receiver.
Yeah, you guys were with Julio Jones last year, which I didn't think was a hot choice.
Yeah, we had Julio and the two guys that we drafted. The kid out of Florida State, he's hurt. Mm-hmm. And then the kid out of Texas A&M has looked terrible. So they need a third receiver. If Dotson can't do anything this year, I mean, what other system is he going to do something in? So, as far as the question, who outscores who, I would say it's a coin flip. I just don't have a good read on it, to be honest with you.
I gotcha. Oh, I'm now, not to interrupt. I'm sorry. I'm now seeing what Dan's seeing, and I'm gonna have to go in and fix that. If you're a betting man, you should take Patrick Mahomes under 15.5 passing yards, receiving yards,
yeah, I would take that bet all day.
all day.
I do want to touch on one thing real quick.
Sorry.
Well, you go ahead and fix it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. When we're looking at offensive players right now, game one, especially in a new system, you kind of want to take it easy. We think that Saquon is going to be catered to get him working into this system, and that's why we have that play on him. For other skill position players right now, I'm going to take a little step back because it's just week one, and this is why we have limited plays right now on these games. Honestly, just limit it until you can see what kind of system is actually being run here, how the fucking attempts are being spread. Adding Saquon to Brown and fucking Smith, and then you have Goddard at tight end. Then also you have Dotson, who is going to get some targets, I would assume. Like, you got to see how they're going to divvy up this ball. Like, they have a lot of fucking weapons, which gives me great hope that this is going to be a track meet, and hopefully Jordan Love's going to be throwing the entire goddamn game. But let's wait to see how, like, these teams with new fucking coordinators, with new fucking, systems, whatever the fuck, let's wait to see how these skill players kind of, like, what kind of target share these skill players are going to get before we start making plays on them whatsoever. So that's why you'll notice, like, a little less fucking, plays on the skill position players. But I think we can move on to the I feel like we broke that fucking game down. I think we can move on to the Ravens and Chiefs. Thursday night, first game of the year. Bri, we're going to let Rocky Prop take us through his fucking game script for this game. Ravens, I feel like he hasn't talked or earned his keep for this entire episode. I want to hear Rocky Prop break down the Baltimore Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs for what feels like the 90th time they've played, and I'm so sick of seeing these fucking teams play each other, dude. Go ahead.
On the opening day as well. Yeah, so with the Ravens and the Chiefs, so Chiefs coming off a Super Bowl win, as well as the last couple times they've met in the first game of the season. In general, they've kind of had the Ravens number, so the Ravens are sitting at plus 125. And I don't know, there's something within my heart that's telling me that even though Kansas City has been so dominant these past few years, there seems to be a few too many question marks to really form that, like, same identity that they're going to have. So their identity basically right now, and disagree or agree if you agree with this, is Patrick Mahomes is the best player and probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And that kind of everything's just going to work out through him. Would that be kind of the understanding? Because you got Isaiah Pacheco, who's kind of developing into this role where touchdown machine, good at the goal line, it can get a first down on a long third. But with, so you got Xavier Worthy, and then you had fucking Juju Smith-Schuster there for a while. Then you had Kadarius Toney. Then you got fucking Rashee Rice and the whole shit this offseason. All these different kind of pieces, and then the whole fucking, all this attention with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift and all this shit. It kind of feels like an episode of the Kardashians rather than a well-organized football team. They just happen to have probably the best quarterback in the league right now, and I know Dan probably has something to say about that, but at the same token, we'll change that discussion for another day. With the Ravens, you bring in Derrick Henry. You have kind of a banged-up running back room, so it's Derrick Henry and Justice Hill. Then you got Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews is back. I did not hear about Mark Andrews getting in a car accident. Brian, did you hear anything about that in August? No. Mark Andrews apparently was in a light car accident in August, but he's going to be good to play, and he's been cleared for a while.
Was a light car accident?
Like a fucking, I don't know if it was like they didn't give many details. I don't know if it was like a fender bender or something crazy. Regardless of the case, I think this is a game where the Ravens can kind of catch the Chiefs kind of out in no man's land. I think they're going to come out and expect to be like, yeah, we could play our game. We'll just run through Mahomes and Pacheco and try to get these receivers involved. But through camp, you've been hearing the talk about, Kelce, a little bit older in age, and, he about looks the same from what he's been the last couple of years just through camp. but there's really not a number one favorite wide receiver for Patrick Mahomes right now. Rashee Rice, just being able to get into practice and preseason rhythm. I just think the Ravens are more poised for a season opener, and I do think that them being minus or them being a plus number is purely based off the fact that they haven't won the past few years and that the Chiefs just won a Super Bowl. I don't think the books are really giving it credit to it being a game, and also it's so apparently easy to bet on the Kansas City Chiefs for whatever the case may be, because they've just been so good that I think it's going to catch a lot of people by surprise. And I think Derrick Henry being an addition is going to spark some more confidence from this team, because they haven't had a number one star running back in what seems like fucking forever. They're going to be good on the defensive side of the ball, and I think they're going to be able to, catch the Chiefs by surprise. And not only that, I think they're going to be able to throw the ball downfield. I know we've talked a lot about Lamar's arm not being the greatest, but Zay's got some fucking juice. Young, into his second year, fucking 1 year removed from fucking a little bit more knowledge and a little more education just in NFL football rather than from college. I think they're due, and I also think they're also a little angry, like a couple beehives stirred up. Like, they do not want to lose to this team again opening week and start fucking 0-1 as well.
Oh my God. What a breakdown. What a fucking breakdown. All right, listen. I don't know who wins this game, obviously. I'll probably be on the under in this game. I think unders are fun. I know we have a lot of overs listed right now. What I do know is the last time out, Zay Flowers had 115 yards receiving. If Derrick Henry is even half of what he used to be, if they can really fucking kind of lean on that play action fucking game, I think Zay's going to have a decent day. I think Kansas City got worse in the defensive back field.
Yep.
So I don't know how this game's going to play out. I am hoping that age and just overall, like, playing so many fucking games has caught up to Kansas City. And I really hope they implode this year and everyone gets injured. But I'm really, I'm seeing that the Ravens are I feel like the Ravens are going to win. I also think Kansas City's going to play like a weird Ravens style football this year with Xavier Worthy kind of going over the top and fucking people over. I feel like Rashee Rice is good too. But I think that Kansas City's going to start working in Pacheco a little bit more. That's why we're going to play Patrick Mahomes under 264.5 passing yards this week. I like that play. I think you see a lot of Pacheco, and I think they're trying to like kind of ease into a new type of offense. What do you think, Bri?
Yeah, like you said, I don't know who's going to win. I don't even really love the total too much. It feels right. I think it's right around 50, right? 50 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That feels right to me. The one prop that kind of piqued my interest was Derrick Henry over 16 and a half carries. But beyond that, I mean, nothing really. I'm just gonna watch the game and take notes at this point, because again, we're early in the season. Don't know really what this new Kansas City team's going to look like. We kind of know what Baltimore is, but they haven't been able to get over the hump. So let's take some notes this week. At least that's what I'm going to do. I might place a couple degenerate bets, just small ones, just to get the beak wet, but no official plays for me.
I think we looked at Mahomes as under. I think the offense is driven through his ability to be able to throw to Travis Kelce. His brother's no longer in the league. He just won a Super Bowl. He's got the superstar girlfriend and all this shit going on. He saw him all off-season traveling anywhere. I think there's going to be a little bit of a championship-like slump, later off-season. It's been when you win a championship, it's a lot of shit going on. You meet the president, you get the rings, you get to this, and they've been through it before. I just think it's different with this season, also because he's getting up there in age, and you kind of saw it towards the end of the season last year too, and a little bit into the playoffs, that like there was a lot more frustration out of Travis Kelce, but not only Travis, but Patrick Mahomes too, that I think is going to boil over into this year a little bit more. I think there's going to be some uncertainty. I think Xavier Worthy's going to come out fast maybe not as consistent, maybe not as ready for game speed with his hands, and being able to really keep up with an NFL offense early on, especially just game one against a pretty decent Ravens secondary and defense. And, Rashee Rice has a lot on his plate, too. There's just been a lot of shit going on. There's a looming suspension that's probably going to linger till the end of the season. That they mostly are saying that he's going to be able to play the entire season. That's something that's going to be subjected in 2025 or whatever the case may be. And I feel like the Ravens are just like locked in and confident in what's really like weighing them down, and they have nothing to lose. I feel like the Chiefs also every year carry a higher sense of just this pressure from the top of the mountaintop, especially coming off a championship and all the attention, all the bright lights in the news, and fucking Taylor Swift at the games, and Taylor Swift is writing up plays for the Chiefs to run. Did you see that story?
I did.
Like, whatever the case may be, if they're using them or not. I think
It
it's just a lot of
bothers
noise.
me so
It
much
should.
that she's involved in this fucking situation at all. I really wish they would like go away.
I
But
could
yeah,
picture
you're
him in the
right.
huddle, like, run the Travie.
No, you're right though. Like, okay, listen. There's a reason why you don't see three-peat NFL champions. Like, there's a reason, dude. It takes a toll on you. Like, defenses catch up. Like, there's only so much innovation. Like, yeah, you can have the greatest quarterback, but Brady didn't win 3 in a row. Brady did. If Brady can't do it, Mahomes can't do it. I'm just saying. If Brady can't fucking do it, Mahomes ain't going to be the one to do it.
I agree.
Here's a stat I want to throw out to all the Travis Kelce owners.
Yes.
And
And I'm almost.
do you have him on your team?
Travis Kelce? No.
Yeah. Okay. So over the last 7 years, and he's been in the league 10 years. Well, this will be his 11th year, but the 7 years prior to last year, he was over 1,100 yards in receiving. Last year, he didn't break 1,000 yards. His average yards per catch, under 12 yards for the first time in his career. So it lends to the idea that perhaps he's slowing down. I don't know. Everyone says is Taylor Swift a distraction and all this other shit. I don't buy into any of that, but Father Time is undefeated in every sport on the face of the earth. So I don't think Travis Kelce is going to be a top tight end this year. To be honest with you,
He was going number 1 in drafts too.
That might be a hot take. I think you can get value lower later in the draft, and his production's starting to decrease. So I want to see.
How old is he?
This will be
He's
his
only 29.
This will be his 11th season in the league.
For a tight end, that's
It's
that
not
spells-
terrible.
It's no, but for a tight end that gets beat up a little bit, he
Mhm.
was used a lot in his career, and now he's a trophy husband.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't mean to be, but if my wife made fucking what Taylor Swift makes in a fucking year, you think I'd be on this goddamn podcast right now? No, I'd be on a beach, butt fucking naked, living a goddamn best life on the planet, dude. Listen, he went on tour. He went on tour this fucking summer, dog. Like, he wasn't in the gym fucking
That's
ripping,
that's
man.
that's what I'm saying. Listen, for him to get, and like, I don't want to make this about a relationship the entire time, but to get later into your career, 29 years old, long fucking seasons, ending in a championship, whatever the case may be. In general, just having a girlfriend's fucking exhausting. I gotta go to the doctor's appointment. You gotta come to see my parents for their anniversary. You gotta come do this, gotta come do that. Whatever the case may be, whether you enjoy it or not, you get home and you're like, oh. This
And
dude's
you
an
know Taylor
NFL
Swift is the
player.
worst, by the way. You know he's going to fucking everything.
Correction. Travis Kelce is 34. Will be 35 on.
Oh! See, that's what I'm
he's
saying.
done that.
That's what I'm saying. Fucking, she's like, Travi, I know you're at training camp, but my cat has Hodgkin's lymphoma. Can you take a private jet and destroy the planet a little bit more and come to Rhode Island and then to my second home in Montauk? Whatever the fuck.
Yo, on top of it, let's talk about this real quick. He just signed a fucking $100 million deal for his podcast, too. Thanks, Platinum. I appreciate you. Bry's a good guy.
He is, but no, but
I'm
that's
just saying,
insane.
like, he just signed a $100 million deal for his podcast with whatever fucking podcast, whatever the fuck. But like, I think that plays
good show.
into it. He's already hinted at retiring. He already has said if he wins the third Super Bowl, he's fucking done. Like, he's done. He's gone. So like, this is the end of a fucking Chiefs era. Real quick, I think I could see them losing like 7 games this year. I know that sounds crazy, but I really do think they can lose 7 games this year. They have a fucking gauntlet of a schedule, dude.
I agree. It's a tough schedule. We've looked at it during the previous episodes, and it is not going to be easy, especially when you're getting older in there in age. And I think it's going to affect Mahomes. I think it's like when you lose your security blanket. I'm not saying Tony's even going to hit the fucking. Is Kadarius Toney even on the team still?
No, they cut him.
No.
Okay, they cut him. Yeah. For example, when you saw him throwing to Tony last season, and you're like, Patrick Mahomes is amazing, but when you're struggling with a wide receiver, you kind of like shit looks a little like fucking scarce. And especially when you're trying to look for your security blanket and Travis Kelce and just things aren't really like panning out. Like Xavier Worthy can be incredible, or he can be Kadarius Toney, or somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna name 3 other tight ends, and I want you to tell me if they're gonna have a better or worse season than Travis Kelce this season. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, Sam Laporta.
Better.
Wait, who's gonna better seasons? Laporta?
Yeah, Laporta.
Okay. Trey McBride.
Better.
I would say probably around the same.
Dalton Kincaid.
I think better. I think they're saving him for the playoffs. I think that's very clear. Like he's gonna do the same thing he did last year. He's gonna cruise through the season, and they're gonna save him for the fucking playoffs.
Right,
that's
two
what
more.
we saw. Go ahead.
2 more. All right. Jake Ferguson.
Who the fuck is that?
You don't know who Jake Ferguson is? He's the only other passable option in Dallas. He's actually a really good tight end. He's a really good tight end.
Jake Ferguson also sell insurance? Like, who the fuck is that? What are we talking about right now? Gives a fuck whether he has a better season or not.
So what I'm bringing this up for is because 2 reasons. 1, because I was just curious, and 2, because also Travis Kelce was still going as the number 1 tight end in fantasy drafts after Laporta, after Kincaid, or before Laporta, before Kincaid, before McBride, before Mark Andrews, all that shit in the middle. And yeah, it's just crazy to me. All right, real quick, just while we got this, I did a little TikTok, and I'm not going to play it, but I picked the game. I picked the winners from each game, and then I also placed another parlay this week. And do you want to know what I was doing? I was asking ChatGPT how many different possible outcome combinations are there if I were to try to pick the winner of every game this week. And she said there were 640,000 different possible outcomes. So then I'm narrowing it down, and I'm like, well, what if I knew that like 7 of these games are like a lock? And she's like, okay, and whatever the fuck, breaking me down all this shit. And then I eventually like worked it into ChatGPT, being like, all right, I want you to pick a parlay for me that is gonna hit. ChatGPT gives me this parlay. Do you want to know what the odds were?
What?
Like plus 28,000 or some shit.
What was it?
It's on my phone. The phone's on the camera. I'll tell you right now. Basically, I put a couple, but basically the payout's $24,000
For how many dollars?
for $10
Oh my god!
as a social experiment. Do you want to hear what ChatGPT picked?
Yeah, show me what the fucking AI overlord said.
All right, the AI overlord said Chiefs, Falcons, Bears, Texans, Saints, Chargers, Cowboys, Lions, Eagles, Bills, Bengals, Dolphins, Vikings, Seahawks, Buccaneers, and Niners.
Okay.
So they basically took the favorite.
That's what I asked it. I said, did you just take the favorites? They're like, no, we did not just take the favorites. And we also took Dallas, who was plus 120. I was like, oh, okay. Thank you. I said,
maybe.
Did you just pick the favorites?
I mean, maybe, but here's how I see it going. Give me Baltimore first. Give me first game.
Agreed.
Baltimore. Give me fucking. Man, I'm gonna take. I know Brian's gonna hate this, but give me Green Bay in that second game. Give me the Falcons in the third game.
Great choice.
I'll take the fucking. I'll take the Bills. I think the sexy pick is to take the Cardinals over the Bills, actually. But the Cardinals aren't going to win that game. I will take. Give me the fucking Bears, I guess. Bengals is a lock. That's a fuck.
Yeah.
If you're in a survivor pool and not taking the Bengals this week, you're dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Give me the Texans. Let me take the Jags. I'm going to take the Jags over the Fins.
That. Don't do that.
Why? Why can't I take the Jags over the Fins?
Just take them. Just take them.
I just did. I just did.
And
I just
Christian
fucking
Kirk.
took 'em.
All right, that's
Hey,
fine.
I'm just saying, Gabe Davis, he has one game a year. He loves playing the Dolphins. Just want to point that out.
Okay, keep going.
Loves playing the Dolphins. Just saying.
This hits, I'll be so mad.
Give me the Panthers over the Saints, actually. I love this Panthers team this year. I don't know what it is about them. I think they're going to fucking win some games this year. I'll take the Giants over the Vikings because Sam Darnold is a piece of shit quarterback. Chargers, I think, are poised to have one of the best years this year. I think the Chargers beat the Raiders. Careful with this next one. I'm going to take the Seahawks. I'm not sold on the fucking Seahawks. I could see the Broncos winning that fucking game. I'm taking Cleveland over Dallas because I love that fucking defense. That defense has not changed, by the way. Myles Garrett is still on the other side of the ball, and I still like him more than the offensive line. Yes, thank you, Platinum. So we got I'm going to take the Bucks against the Commanders. I'm going to take the Rams over the Lions. I'm going to take the Jets over the 49ers.
Damn, Dan just busted my whole parlay. Just not the ChatGPT one, my TikTok one. Brian, let's hear what you got, buddy.
I'll go Chiefs because I need to see it from Baltimore before I believe it. I'm going to go Philly with under 34 fans stabbed. I'm going to go Atlanta, Buffalo, Chicago, Cincinnati, Houston, Miami, Carolina, Minnesota, the Chargers, Seattle, Dallas, Tampa, Lions, Niners.
That Lions game is fucking tight, huh?
That's going to be a crazy one.
I think that's going to be a great fucking game, dude.
I think the Rams are going to do a really good job at picking apart the secondary of Detroit.
I think the Rams should have won last year in the playoffs. I'm going to be real honest with you. And I think the Rams are better this year. So we'll see how that goes. But I think, and if we're talking Monday night, you're right. It's a toss-up. It could go either way, in my opinion.
That's true.
How many snaps? Hold on, wait. How many snaps does Aaron Rodgers make it to? Does he play a full season? If I had to give you an over/under 10.5 games, what do you guys think?
Over.
All right, 13.5 games.
Over.
I think he plays all 17.
You think he plays the whole season?
Dude, if Joe Flacco could do what he did in the playoffs, and
after the catastrophic injury he had last year, you think he's playing the whole season?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
If he doesn't, he's done. And then there goes
all
the
old
hype.
Rodgers?
37.
No, come on.
I don't know. You have a phone?
Rodgers is over 40.
Over 40? All right,
He's
whatever the case.
40 years old. He's 40.
Oh, how old was Joe Flacco?
36.
Get the fuck out of my face. He was not 36.
Flacco was 36.
Right, was Flacco 36?
He's 39 right now. He was 38.
I typed in how old is Joe, and it came up with Biden. So hold on.
He's 39. He's 39, but last season he was 38.
Okay, so then maybe I'll take. I don't know. I'm gonna give my picks real quick. This is what I kind of threw out picks on TikTok and I placed a parlay for it. But all right, I'm going Baltimore, Philadelphia, Atlanta. I really want to go the Cardinals. I'm just not touching that game. Chicago, Cincinnati, Houston, Miami, New Orleans, Minnesota, LA, Seattle, Dallas, Tampa, Detroit, and San Fran.
We pretty much match, Rocky.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling. I'm really in love with the Cardinals this year, and I do not want to touch that Buffalo game because it's Josh Allen, and they got James Cook cooking and shit. I want to see what that wide receiver core does, but also got to see what Marvin Harrison does. But those are our picks for week 1, and I have one more segment, and then we'll let Brian and Double Down and myself go. But this segment is specifically called Brian's Breakdown. All right. So Brian, listen, with no
Can I just go now?
No. With no context, I'm gonna show you 2 fantasy football teams, and you're gonna tell me which one you think drafted better.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Very
let's go.
nice. All right. Let's
Brian
start
doesn't
with.
get a vote. He doesn't play fucking fantasy football. He doesn't get a fucking
I fucking
vote.
hate fantasy football.
That's fine, but you can tell me who has the better team. Ready? So what is this one?
Dude,
Hold
I
on.
was on vacation.
All right. What is this one? All right.
Okay.
So you got just a look at it: Josh Allen, James Conner, Jonathan Taylor, Nico Collins, Garrett Wilson, David Njoku, DJ Moore, and then Charbonnet, Chubb, Conklin, and Aaron Jones on the bench. And is this the bench for that team? It is Zach Charbonnet and Zach. Oh no, it's actually that is the bench. Yeah, Aaron Jones, Zach Moss, Rashee Rice, Caleb Williams.
Okay.
What would you rate that team 1 out of 10?
How many teams are in the league?
10.
10.
Without looking at any other teams, it seems like an average to maybe a little bit above average team.
Okay. And then here's another team for you. This one is Kyler Murray, Derrick Henry, David Montgomery, Marvin Harrison Jr., Tyreek Hill, Jake Ferguson, Cooper Kupp, 49ers, Brandon Ayuk, Brock Bowers, Blake Corum, DJ Hopkins, Raheem Mostert, Khalil Shakir, and Tua Tagovailoa.
Lots of youth on this team, huh?
There is
So
a lot of
you
youth on this team.
Marvin Harrison, Brock Bowers, Blake
Lots of
Corum,
youth.
but some old guys too.
It's
Henry.
a nice little mix.
Well, I would assume that this team is going to beat the other team if on any given Sunday. So I would say that this team's a little bit better.
What the fuck?
Now I bring it up because hold on. Double Down Dan talked so much shit. And then he's like, Rock, need you in this league. We're going to draft this day at this time. And then I call him. I'm like, yo, you going to be around for the draft? And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm at dinner. And this was like an hour before. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, all right, I'll shoot you a call later. I call him right when the draft's about to start, assuming that he had been at dinner for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And he picks up the phone and he goes, what, dude? I'm at dinner. I go, oh, I thought you'd be done. You don't want to like stay on the phone for the draft? And he's like, no, dude, I'm at dinner. And I'm like, oh, all right. And then as he's putting the phone down, he goes, it's fucking Rocky. I don't know, fucking draft or some shit. And I hear the phone click. I'm sitting in this fucking draft that I paid $50 for, and no one is there. Not one person is live drafting the first 3 rounds of this draft. It's 2 minutes for each fucking computer to take a pick. So I'm sitting there like 2 minutes waiting, cooking. 2 minutes waiting, cooking. Finally, round 6. Double Down shows up, his brother shows up, and the whole rest of the league shows up. I did 3 drafts. This one took 2 hours. But that's what you get.
I picked my first pick, and then I forgot about it a little bit. I was a little drunk. I'm not going to lie to anybody here. Okay? It happened. Listen, I still like my team. I think your team sucks dick. Where'd you go? I was talking shit. Come on. You can't fucking disconnect.
Gone.
He's just fucking gone now. Anyways, I think my team's way fucking better than his, but whatever. You don't even play fantasy football, so you don't know anything anyways.
Fair enough.
Goddamn right. All right. I think that's it. I think Rocky's just fucking done, so I think we're fucking done too. I'm gonna fucking
Did you just fucking kick me?
Is he back?
You just fucking kick me? Because of my team. Oh, I'm just kidding. Nah, I think my shit just tweaked. Whatever the case may be, yeah, I just wanted to run that down because
Sign it off.
You could sign off. Damn, my Cash App. I'll make sure to send it to you. But is that it for today, boys? Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have a full college slate this weekend, and then obviously NFL is gonna start up, so we'll have some picks for that, and Atlanta for NASCAR.
Damn right.
Cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Degen Fantasy. I'll catch you guys on Thursday? Friday. Friday. So be ready, and we'll be ready for all the games coming up this weekend. Later, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.